Today in Luther's Kitchen, we're making fluffy marshmallows. And once you've had a homemade marshmallow, bagged store-bought marshmallows, just don't cut it anymore. So to begin with, we're using a stand mixer and we're combining gelatin, unflavored gelatin, and some cold water. We, in this recipe, are using 3 packages of unflavored gelatin, and because we buy it in bulk, we have to measure that out, which is equivalent to 7.5 teaspoons of unflavored gelatin if you buy the container. And it's really important that the water is cold. You want to turn the machine on and give this a good stir. And sometimes that whisk doesn't get to the bottom of the bowl, and you'll have parts of the gelatin that never get incorporated into the water. So I like to get in there with a spoon afterwards and make sure everything is mixed very well. And then you want to let that sit while you start to heat up your syrup mixture. In a heavy bottom pot over medium-high fire, you want to combine sugar, corn syrup, salt, and 1/2 cup of water. So we have 1 cup of light corn syrup, 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, and 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, again with 1/2 cup of water. And we want to let that bubble until the mixture reaches 240 degrees, which is considered the softball stage. So it's important that you have a candy thermometer so that you can get an accurate reading of that temperature. Now it's time to prepare a 9 by 13 inch glass baking dish with a large piece of parchment paper. We are going to sprinkle a mixture of cornstarch and powdered sugar all over the paper to ensure that our marshmallow mixture doesn't stick. Make sure you coat the paper well. Our syrup mixture has reached 240 degrees and we are now about to pour it into the stand mixer with the mixer running on low speed. Be super careful, that mixture will burn you. It's very, very hot. So you want to slowly incorporate it into the gelatin on low speed. And once all of it's in there, you can continually, gradually increase the speed because you want this mixture to whip on high for 15 minutes. The mixture is really hot, so be careful. You want to let this whip for about 15 minutes until it looks like this. Nice, white, light, fluffy, and it should be very thick. So you need to check it out, and the mixture should have cooled. So this is about 15 minutes in, and at this point we're going to add vanilla. We're going to put a tablespoon of pure vanilla extract in, and then we're going to continue to whip it for another 5 minutes. After that 5 minutes, the mixture should be pretty firm, so you want to make sure that it holds its shape. Once you detach it from the whisk attachment, the mixture should hold its shape. So if it's still super loose, either you did something wrong with the gelatin or you didn't whip it long enough. So see, it's holding its shape. We are going to now get that into the pan that we've prepared with the cornstarch, powdered sugar, parchment paper. After you've gotten it out of the bowl, use a spatula or an offset spatula and just kind of even the mixture out so you end up with a fairly flat surface. Now it's time to add a little more powdered sugar and cornstarch, again equal parts, and you just want to use a sieve, sprinkle it all over the top. This will help the marshmallow mixture set, and then you're going to let this sit out for 24 hours. 24 hours later, we're ready to cut those marshmallows. So that's some of the cornstarch and powdered sugar that's remaining in that 9 by 13 pan that I used. So I'm going to recycle that into the outer part of the marshmallow. Some of my marshmallow mixtures stick to the paper, which is normal because getting in that pan, it's pretty hard. So you want to remove the marshmallow mixture from the paper. This is the hardest part about making the marshmallows, cutting the marshmallows. And sometimes it just depends. Sometimes my marshmallows seem a little firmer than others. I haven't quite figured out why. I have done it so many times and I've used exactly the same amount of ingredients and they're not always gonna be the same. I just have to accept that. So anyway, once I separate it from the paper, I use scissors, kitchen shears, to cut it as opposed to putting it on a cutting board and using a knife, but you could try that. I've done it. That's complicated too. So for me, the easiest way is to use kitchen shears. And once I've cut them out into nice square shapes, I roll it around in that cornstarch, powdered sugar, leftover mixture, just so all the sides are coated so they don't stick together. And at this point, you can put them in a plastic bag that is sealed, or a container, airtight container that is sealed. Those are the leftover scrappy pieces. Nothing's wrong with those, but if you're trying to give this as a gift, maybe avoid those end pieces. This is awesome in hot cocoa. It's also perfect in s'mores, which is what we use them a lot for. So again, just getting in there and cutting, and then ensuring that those sticky sides are coated with the cornstarch sugar mixture so that they don't stick together in whatever storage facility you are putting it into. But if they are in an airtight container, these will last at least 2 weeks. They're marshmallows, and they're spectacular. For this recipe and more, visit myclasscancook.com.